everyone. In math, we're going to start learning about how to tell time. This is an analog clock. It's different than a digital clock because when we have a digital clock just shows you the numbers 700 to show 7 o'clock. An analog clock, we have to read differently. We need to know the parts of the clock and what everything stands for on a clock. So we're going to learn about that. Before we can learn to tell time, we have to know what the parts of a clock are. The clock that looks like this, where the numbers and these pointers are, is called the face. These pointers have different names too. They're called hands. This short hand is the hour hand. It tells the hour of that part of the day. This long hand is the minute hand. It tells which minute of the hour we are in. And this hand is called the second hand. The second hand tells how many seconds have gone by. Some clocks have a second hand and some clocks don't. All analog clocks have an hour hand and a minute hand. Something important to remember. There are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So for the minute hand to get from the 12 and then all the way back to the 12, it takes 1 hour. Notice when I did that, my hour hand moved from the 7 to the 8. That means that it's now 8 o'clock. When my minute hand points to the 12, it's o'clock, 00. So this is 8 o'clock. Now watch my hour hand as I go around the clock again with my minute hand. We're going to go around. Remember, it takes 60 minutes. Now my hour hand is pointing to the 9. That means that it's 9 o'clock. When the minute hand points to the 12, it's o'clock. These little lines each stand for a minute. The numbers around the clock stand for 5 minutes. So when we see the 1, we know that means it's been 5 minutes. If the minute hand is pointing to the 1, that's 5 minutes. The 2 is 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 50 minutes when it's on the 10, 55 minutes, and now we're back at o'clock. Now that we know about the minutes, let's talk about the hours. How do we tell the hour? We can tell the hour by looking at the color on this clock that the hour hand is in. So right now my clock shows 10 o'clock. The minute hand is pointing to the 12 and the hour hand is pointing to the 10. That means it's 10 o'clock. If I move this minute hand to here, I can see that my hour hand up at the top here is not pointing right at the 10 anymore. But see how it's still in this purple zone? As long as the hour hand is in this purple zone, it's still 10. So it's still in the 10 o'clock hour. Now I know that when it's pointing to the 4, I just have to count by 5s to get to 4. So let's do that. Ready? 5, 10, 15, 20. That means that this is 10:20. My hour hand is in this purple zone for 10, and it's pointing to the 4, which is 20 minutes. So my hour hand, when it's in this red zone here, it's in the 12 o'clock hour. This orange zone shows the 1 o'clock hour. This green zone shows the 2 o'clock hour. This blue zone shows the 3 o'clock hour. This purple zone shows the 4 o'clock hour, and this pink zone shows the 5 o'clock hour. This red zone shows the 6 o'clock hour. This orange zone shows the 7 o'clock hour. This green zone shows the 8 o'clock hour. This blue zone shows the 9 o'clock hour. This purple zone shows the 10 o'clock hour. And this pink zone shows the 11 o'clock hour. So let's practice reading the clock. I'm going to set a time, and we will figure out the time together. So here's my time. My hour hand is in the orange zone here. That means it's in the 1 o'clock zone. Now I just have to figure out how many minutes the 7 is. So I'm going to start at the 12 and I'm going to skip count by 5. So you ready? Let's jump. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. That means that it's 1:35. Let's try another one. All right, let's start with our hour hand. Remember, our hour hand is the shorter hand. The hour hand is in the green zone here, so that means it's the 8 o'clock zone. Now I just have to figure out the minutes. Let's jump to find out. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. This clock shows 8:30 because the hour hand is in the green for 8 and the minute hand is pointing to the 6. Let's try one more. All right, remember we first look at our hour hand. Here, the hour hand is in the purple zone, which means it's in the 4 o'clock room. The minute hand is pointing to the 10. Let's count by 5s to the 10 to find out what time it is. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. That means that this clock shows 4:50 because the hour hand is still in the purple zone and the minute hand is pointing to the 10. Remember, look at the clock carefully when you're trying to tell time. The minute hand is the shorter hand and the hour hand is the shorter hand and tells the hour. The longer hand is the minute hand and tells the minutes.